Guys, and welcome back to another movie review. So today we are doing Soylent Green, which I realize is technically not a horror movie per se, but watching it in 2023 is a way more disturbing experience than watching it last time I saw it in 2010. And before I go any further, apologies for being sniffly. It's early in the morning. My allergies have not yet calmed down, so apologies for sniffliness, general grossness. Sorry, can't be avoided at this hour. So, anyway, I noticed a lot of parallels this time around to our current day that make it rather upsetting to watch today that I did not notice the last time I watched it. It's granted been 13 years since I watched it, but the events of the movie take place in 2022. Just throwing that out there in case everybody forgot that little detail, but that wouldn't mean much, except you look at the dystopian society they're living in, and it kind of feels like we might not be that far off. We see people walking around in face masks outside, for one. We see, global warming. We see them messing with the food supply. We see homeless people everywhere. We see people being locked in their houses. We see pretty much it's been the no middle class, just the rich, the poor. There is no middle class anymore. Survival of the fittest, pretty much. Sounding familiar? Thought it might. Alternate sources of energy that aren't electricity. Like, bro, it's starting to get a little eerie watching it. Like, there's so many little parallels like that are like, I don't like where this is going if this predicted some stuff. I mean, we've hit the point where crickets have entered our food supply, so I mean, we might not be that far off, I'm just saying. But anyway, regardless, if you have never seen Soylent Green and somehow, some way, at this point, do not know the spoiler of the film, click off. I don't know how anyone in 2023 could not know the main tagline of this film that has been referenced in literally everything over the years. So, if you don't know Soylent Green is people, sorry, spoiler, but talking about like a 50-year-old movie here, so I think we're fine, but regardless, watching it this time around was so much more upsetting. I don't know, it hit different. It hit very different. But just the way that they're living in a world where the government's trying to hide the reality of everything from them. I'm like, don't like where this is headed in the parallels. Don't like this one bit. Just saying. But anyway, so general gist of this storyline. Charlton Heston's character is a cop. And by the way, until I watched it this time, I don't think I realized the main character was, in fact, Charlton Heston. The last time I watched it, I'm so used to Charlton Heston being Moses that, like, seeing him without, like, the big, long beard and stuff, that I'm like, wait. That's him? Listening to the voice, I guess it is him. Weird. I didn't even realize till it hit the credits that was him. But anyway, so he plays a cop in this. He lives with this old guy. I don't know if he's related to the old guy or not, or he just lives with him, but old dude remembers how the world used to be, how beautiful things used to be, what real food was like, because in this dystopian universe, they're all being given these, like, chip things, like they're squares in different colors, like Soylent Yellow is supposedly like these vegetable proteins and such. But everybody is clamoring and fighting for Soylent Green, that they don't really know what it is. Hold on 1 second, I have to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, so yeah, they don't really know, and they're not being told what Soylent Green is. There's other colors of these chips too, like there's Soylent Red. They never go into what the hell that is. I think there was orange too, if I'm not mistaken. And then they're like showing things like other modified food supply things, like their bread is weird colors too, like red or orange and so, like, Oh, okay. So it's like that. I think there was even a blue one, if I remember right. But yeah, so we've even got the genetically modified food supply. Cool, cool. Really don't like these parallels. But anyway, so pretty much it works in like, I'm not gonna say like Soviet Russia communism exactly, but there is definitely lines for people trying to just get food. It's kind of like the soup lines or like the bread lines of the Great Depression. It's a lot like that. And people are fighting for survival just to get the government issued food. But there's not enough to go around. There's not enough resources for all the overpopulation of people. Yeah, I know, don't say it. I know. I know. Anyway, so with that in mind, the few and far between actual wealthy people, oh, they have their own private supplies of, like, real food. It's few, it's far between, and if you're found out, it's like contraband in their world, but even things like just strawberries. $150 a jar for strawberries. Strawberries may as well be cocaine in that world. Like, it's insane. It's insane. But, like, this one dude, like, early on in the movie, what was his name? Simonson. He got found out that he was unreliable, he knew too much, so he was offed. So this is why the cop is in the story in the first place. He's trying to understand, he's trying to do his detective work on what really happened here. Because he can tell this was for sure an assassination, but he's trying to figure out who did it and why. Seemingly, the rest of the police department just wants to sign off on this and just get it out and done. They don't want to deal with it. Likely because somebody knows something, and they don't want to be involved, they don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, they don't want to deal with the Soylent company. Yeah, it's like that, it's like that. But he is really hell-bent on figuring this one out, and spends the whole movie trying to figure out what the hell happened here. Meanwhile, he falls in love with the woman who was living with him, who was played by Lee Taylor Young, who, it took me a minute and I was like, she looks and sounds so familiar. Where do I know her from? And all of a sudden it clicked. I was like, that's the chick from I Love You, Alice B. Toklas. Oh my god, I know who this is now. Okay, see, last time I watched this, I don't think I'd even seen that yet. So, see, this is where it's like I start drawing all the connections to, oh, right, I've seen this person and that, da 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 da. I love those kind of moments. But anyway, so I really liked her in that other movie, so I was already more on board with, okay, cool, I like her even more now in here. But regardless, she doesn't know very much about any of this. She basically views herself as a piece of the furniture in this house, as depressing as that is. That, like, whoever the next tenant will be, she just comes with the house. That's so effed up on so many levels, but regardless, that is the dystopian society in which Soylent Green takes place. So, anyway, he's trying to get info out of her. He keeps going back. They are starting to forge some kind of connection there as they're doing so. But regardless, the whole time, the closer and closer he gets to the truth, someone from the Soylent Company is tailing him, following him from place to place, and doesn't want him to know too much, because if he knows too much, he'll have to be eliminated. Such is the way. So, obviously, eventually, like, basically skipping over some stuff that in the middle that's kind of filler, we eventually get to where the old guy is trying his best to research this too, and trying to figure out, with these big, honkin' hefty books about the Soylent Company. He brings them to these old school researchers and asks them what they can tell him. And they basically already know, but they tell him on the down low. But apparently this freaks him out just even knowing what is going on, to the point where he turns his own self into the exchange. What is the exchange? Oh, basically just, an assisted suicide place, The exchange! What are they exchanging? As it turns out, they're then dead bodies for being exchanged into the food supply. Yeah, something tells me they weren't told that part when they signed up, but yeah, it is major league disturbing. But anyway, so he leaves a note for the cop and everything that he's going home, and he knows exactly what that means because he's referenced this for so long that he thinks he's ready to. Just he's finally actually gone and done it now. So he hauls ass to get down to the exchange because he wants to talk to him one last time. And he pretty much pulls some strings, makes sure that he can get the microphone turned on so they can communicate as it's like his last moments. And he kind of tips off that he knows something, but he doesn't live long enough to tell him what. So the cop kind of follows along the process of what are they doing with the body disposal? What are they doing? So he follows these trucks along, and this is how he finds the processing plant, how these bodies are being rendered and turned into the food supply. It's so fucked up. And you just see the look of horror on his face as the realization sets in that, oh shit, Soylent Green is people. Yeah. Yeah. So then he feels obligated to make sure everyone's aware of this. But it's not that easy. No, of course not. It's not that easy because he gets spotted in the factory and they're trailing him. They're trying to stop him. They want off him so he can't say shit. He manages to fight off enough people in the factory to at least get outside and make a phone call. But yeah, too little, too late. There's still one dude that makes it through, follows him, chases him into like a homeless shelter, and there's a long fight. One of them ends up dead, the other one nearly dead. But yeah, in his final moments is when he yells the famous line, Soylent Green is people. But yeah, whether or not the public ever gets to find out, or if it's quickly buried, just like every other person who has found that info out, we don't know, because that's the way the movie ends. It's so freaking chilling to watch. And like I said, watching it in 2023 is way more chilling watching it today, just given the eerie parallels to today's world. I'm like, I don't like this. This is so much more upsetting now than the last time I don't like this, I don't like this. But at the same time, it's a good movie. Is it a little dated just because of like the film quality? Sure, but I mean, it's still a very, very good movie. And one of those just, I'm not even gonna say cult classic, but just classic films that's like, if you've never seen it, you owe it to yourself to at least see it once, just so you can say you've seen it, if nothing else. But, which was the main reason I watched it the first time, because I felt like it was one of those. I was like, this isn't really my usual genre, but at the same time, it's so famous, I feel like I should see it, just so I can say I've seen it. But then I ended up really liking it. I also find it interesting on IMDb. One of the very first more like this films it lists on the page, Logan's Run, which is in fact one of my favorite movies. So I'm like, I was thinking this time as I was watching it that there's a lot of details in here that do in fact remind me of Logan's Run. So, kind of interesting. But yeah, it's deeply disturbing to watch now. I am just throwing that out there as a warning. Also creepy because, if I'm not mistaken, not that long ago, I think I found out there is, in fact, a company now called Soylent. I was like, oh, hell no. I don't think they're a food company, though, if I remember correctly, but regardless, just seeing that was enough to be like, nope, 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 nope. Anyway, I would probably give this like a 4 out of 5. It's really good, but it does have some slow moments in it that I feel like, did they really need to be there? No. Does it feel like they're kind of just padding out the runtime a bit? Yeah. So that's why I've docked it a point for that, but it's still really good though. And especially if you want to be creeped out today by making those parallel comparisons. Yeah, try watching it now. Try watching it now. Even if you saw it years ago, try watching it now. Just saying. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this one, so take them or leave them for whatever they're worth. But yeah, So you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.